back to All About That Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about that Disney life. We now move on to The Jungle Book 2, which came out in 2003. So let's get to know this cast. Haley Joel Osment was Mowgli. John Goodman was Baloo. Mae Whitman was Shanti. Bob Jones was Bagheera. Tony Jay was Shere Khan. Phil Collins was Lucky. John Rhys Davies was the village leader. Veena Bhattacharya was Mesua. Connor Funk was Ranjan. Jim Cummings was Kaa, Colonel Hati, and MC Monkey. Jimmy Bennett was Hati Jr. Jeff Glenn Bennett was Buzzy. Brian Cummings was Flaps. And Jess Harnell was Dizzy and Ziggy. Now we move on to the facts all about The Jungle Book 2. Number 1, the production. In the 1990s, screenwriting duo Bob Hilgenberg and Rob Muir submitted a Jungle Book 2 screenplay in which Baloo ventured to save his romantic interest from a poacher. Disney ultimately went in a different direction for the sequel. Number 2, behind the scenes. John Goodman recorded his voice work in New Orleans, while Haley Joel Osment recorded his in California. Due to a legal dispute, the character of King Louie from the original movie could not be included in this movie. However, he makes a non-physical appearance as a shadow puppet in the beginning of the movie and is briefly mentioned in the middle of the movie. The decision was made to keep Shere Khan in shadow during the beginning of the movie to reflect his wounded pride. Number 3, the release and the box office. This movie was released in France on February 5th, 2003. It was released in the United States on February 14th, 2003. It opened at number 4 in its 4-day opening weekend with over $14 million. At the end of its run, it made over $47 million in the United States and over $87 million in foreign countries for a worldwide total of over $135 million. Number 4, awards and nominations. At the Golden Reel Awards, this movie was nominated for Best Sound Editing and a feature film for animation for sound, but it lost to The Triplets of Belleville. It was also nominated for Best Sound Editing and Animated Features for music, but it lost to Finding Nemo. At the Annie Awards, this movie won for Outstanding Storyboarding in an Animated Feature Production. Jim Cummings was nominated for Outstanding Voice Acting in an Animated Feature Production, but he lost to Ellen DeGeneres for Finding Nemo. At the Blimp Awards, John Goodman was nominated for Favorite Voice from an Animated Movie, but he lost to Ellen DeGeneres for Finding Nemo. At the Young Artist Awards, Haley Joel Osment was nominated for Best Performance and a voiceover role for a young actor, but he lost to Alexander Gould for Finding Nemo. And at the World Soundtrack Awards, Jungle Rhythm was nominated for Best Original Song written for a film, but it lost to The Gangs of New York. Number 5, bonus facts. Kaa is the second character to originally be voiced by Sterling Holloway and then taken over by Jim Cummings. The first one was Winnie the Pooh. Like in the last movie, Bagheera and Shere Khan never meet during the course of the movie. Hippopotamuses, Thompson's gazelle, kookaburra, safaka lemurs, and ocelots were seen during the Wild Song. This is a tiny error because these animals are not native to India. This was Tony Jay's last reprising role before his death in 2006. Shere Khan's line, "Don't insult my intelligence, it makes me irritable," is similar to a line said by Michael Corleone in The Godfather. This was the first movie released under the Disney Toons Studios label after Disney Movie Toons Disney Video Premieres was split from Walt Disney Television Animation to be owned by Walt Disney Animation Studios, which was then known as Walt Disney Feature Animation in January of 2003, though those names would not be changed until June of that year. This is the 5th Disney sequel to get a theatrical release. The movie was going to have a third movie about Baloo and Shere Khan being bought by a circus. Now that's a sequel that I would have been interested in seeing. Mowgli, who was worrying about Baloo, sets off to rescue him. However, the movie was canceled after the 3 voice actors of Shere Khan all passed away. Number 6, the good points and the bad points. Once again, these are the points based on the internet's perspective on whether this is a good sequel or not a good sequel. So for the good points, they liked the opening of the movie, like a recapture of events from the first movie told by shadow puppets. The audience also likes the combined of drawn animation with computer-generated backgrounds. A lot of people also said that John Goodman as Baloo was a great idea. And looking back now of all the sequels that we have gone over, and they were made many years after the original movies, you got to think about actors who sound like the original voice actors, and also the pressure that these actors who are voicing these iconic characters in the sequels, if they felt that pressure, they have to sound exactly like the original or somewhat close to. A lot of fans are saying that this plot for the movie makes sense, and the audience really likes Mowgli's emotional journey, that it's more portrayed in this sequel than in the original movie. Now, for the bad points, there are big plot holes. One major one is that at the end of the original movie, Shere Khan, when he's defeated, he leaves the jungle and never returns, yet here he is returning seeking vengeance. And there's no surprises in this movie. We all pretty much have an idea how it's going to end, when it begins. The plot is non-existent. This was once again another cash grab for Disney Studios, and the fans are saying that this movie lacks what the original movie had. And there you have it, all the facts to the Jungle Book 2. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you have a zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.